Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TCR, Trinity Competitive Racing. We are here for round 5 of the Challenger Series, and we are back in the Middle East once again this week for the Bahrain Grand Prix here at the Bahrain International Circuit. 15 corners, 9 drivers taking on this pretty slippery racetrack, and we have a pretty tight points lead in both the drivers and the constructors. We'll get into all of that in just a second. My name is Camden Luca, doing lead commentary for tonight, and alongside me, the Season 12 Silver Class champion and current Elite Series driver, Sir Charles. What's going on?
Nothing much. Happy to be here. I think it's going to be interesting. But yeah, it's going to be Bahrain, for whatever reason, in this game is a bit of an ice skating rink, so I'm going to see. There's going to be a lot of separation in terms of who gets it right, who gets it wrong. And it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out tonight, so I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, halfway through qualifying, I think Kuka's on a pretty quick one. Good call there, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we see a Mercedes domination like we did last week.
Yeah, Mercedes 1-2 last week in a very, at the time it was a controversial finish because Pilot looked like pulled over for Kluka, but in the end it was a fuel-saving strategy, basically gone wrong. So we'll see if Pilot can redeem himself this week.
Yes, certainly. Bahrain isn't nearly as harsh on fuel. Still on great, but shouldn't see as much issues as we saw last week anyway. Still, again, with the relatively low collar count, I would expect some people. Safety cars will probably be rare, even just trying to do a bit of an ice skating rink, but if that does happen, there might be some people who try to get aggressive with fuel, might come back to bite them. Yeah, that's something we shall see.
Yeah, and one of the corners you really have to look out for is the corner that Kluka just went through. That is the hairpin of turn 10. You can really slide under braking, but some guy really nailing things right now, 29.2.
Yeah, that lead might not last for long. Pilot is on a pretty quick lap. I mean, close. Guns are really nailed these last couple corners to eclipse some guy, but it's definitely looking to improve. Final turn fairly solid. We'll see when he gets up to the line here. Ooh, 2/100ths of a second off the lead. Not bad for him. Yeah, only 9 drivers. Again, a lot of drivers couldn't make it. The exception of a couple drivers have some exceptional circumstances. Just be appreciated, if you sign up for early to actually show up every once in a while. But like I said, it is what it is. But there are a couple drivers who have good reason not to be here. Gunner.
Yeah, not ideal.
The track goes the other way, buddy. Yeah, he's got plenty of time to get him in, get him double going though. So take it off, see what he's got. One driver who's returning is Dorian Alpha, my original teammate from all the way back in Season 9 TCR. In the Silver Class. I think we were with the Renaults back then. And Dorian did win a Constructors' Championship with the Renaults, with Bambuki in Season 10 or 11. I don't know, one of those seasons where Bambuki dominated, and so Dorian was the Sergio Perez to his Max Verstappen, although Dorian has won a few races in the Silver Class, I do believe.
Yeah, Dorian, definitely a longtime member of TCR. Actually got back from deployment this past August, so it's good to see military reps here in the league, and of course we wish Dorian all the best with his military endeavors and whatever's going on there.
One nerd on an improvement. I don't think it's going to challenge the top 3. I don't think he's going to move up one spot here, but he will improve by 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, take a look at...
just set up.
Yeah, D-Swish. 29.1. I mean, if you look at the top three, Charles, 0.06 of a second between those three?
Yeah, it's tight, and I mean, it's, Kluka's not too far off the point either, so it's going to be, pretty tight up, the front here.
Looks like Joby is about to start his lap, and I think Joby is going to have a pretty strong week. I know he and Kluka have been practicing. I know Joby has adjusted his camera settings a little bit, so maybe getting a different view from behind the wheel, and let's see what he can do this week in his bright orange McLaren.
I think the McLaren's going to look a lot better this year now that they got rid of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
The blue looked nice when it was just orange and blue, like, 2021, 2020. Once you added the black in, or whatever. I still think the 2020... Whoa, I hate that curve. That curve is so stupid. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you want to hear about paint schemes, last week on the podcast, Freeze and I actually talked about the F1 paint schemes for this season, and both of us really loved the McLaren paint scheme. So if you want to go check that out, just go to our podcast playlist on the YouTube side of things and go give that a like.
There's a couple of them that I really like. I think Ferrari's was really good. I like the whole retro kind of vibe they're going for.
I agree.
The Misha Cash App, whatever you want to call it, car, also looks quite nice. Bit of a nostalgia. It's a little bit of a busy paint scheme,
I'm not a huge fan.
Going on. Yeah, I kind of like it. There's just good little nostalgia there. But they should have leaned into it a bit more and just gone full Toro Rosso, but what it is. What's the other one that I really liked? Well, Aston Martin looks the exact same, but it's a great paint scheme. I guess it's really those two. Those are kind of the ones that really stood out to me. I feel like I'm missing one, but yeah. A lot of paint schemes are very meh.
I think Speedy and Kaluka just had a hard time deciding who is going to go ahead of who, and Speedy's going a little off-road racing here, and when I mean off-road, I mean like out of the circuit off-road.
I don't know what he's doing here.
These two need to settle their differences here and just let somebody go.
I don't understand any of that, but like, there's no one else.
So he just did all that, and he's going to be coming... Wait. What? Dude, you can't do that! See, now your qualifying's over, because... I don't know, Charles. I don't know what that was.
I don't think anyone does. I mean, what is he doing?
Maybe he was thinking, like, oh, the track, like, they're not going to invalidate me if I do this? No, buddy. Like, if you do that, your next lap is getting invalidated. 100%.
He's played the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to question it anymore. Meanwhile, we do have people on a non-invalidated lap, including Kluka, who has been kind of one of the qualifying merchants so far this season, so let's see what he can do. He's headed down this, looks like Speedy might have had a bit of a tangle with the wall, and yep, there he is on the right-hand side of the screen.
I don't know if he just lost track of time or what, because I think he probably just realized he wasn't going anywhere. I did not get Kluka's second sector split, but
From what I've seen, it looks like a pretty clean lap. Let's see what he does.
Let's just make the top 4 even closer, right on.
Well, Pilot might beat all of them right here.
Well, final turn.
Wow.
Oh, that's a quick one.
Yep.
Dorian to the line. Cruise by quite a bit. Who next is up? Shabar to the line. Cruise by 3.5 tenths.
Oh boy, D-Swish. This might be close between he and Pilot for pole position.
Trying to really have to nail this last sector, and he gets it! Oh, by 9,000ths of a second. Some guy coming to the line now. Some guy might up them both. Oh, not quite. He got P3 here, but I think he was really, really close. I want to see the final time, because I think he was really close there, too. Okay, well, he lost a little bit in the last sector, but still, I mean, those top 3 are really cooking there. And, I mean, if you get into the 28s, you should feel pretty good about yourself, so...
Yeah, this is going to look pretty competitive here at the front. I do got to say, though, I mean, I know F1 Nerd is a little far behind, but we've seen it all season to where he really excels in the race. So that 5th place qualifying effort doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah.
And like I said with Joby, I mean, like, Joby starting ahead of Speedy. I know Speedy didn't have the cleanest qualifying, but Joby, this might be his best qualifying effort of the season.
Yeah, the gap between the front of the field, Joby's definitely closed the gap between him and the front of the field. I think he's still going to have trouble keeping up with the top 6 there, but just based off qualifying, looks like his pace has definitely closed quite a bit to the top 6. We'll see if the consistency's come with it, but yeah.
All right, it is that time. It is predictions time. Wait for it. Do 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 do.
Yes.
Do 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 do. All right, Charles. Who do you?
That was really quiet.
Who do you got?
I think Pilot is going to learn from his fuel-saving blunders. So I think he is going to get P1. I'm going to go with some guy in P2. I think, again, he did not have quite a good race last week. And I also think another guy who's going to have a rebound race is going to be D-Swish. He's going to be up in there, too. Yeah, I think D-Swish is going to rebound, too. Because remember, he was having some fuel issues last week, too. So basically, I just got the top 3 in a different order. So yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet. I don't think I'm really going out on a limb with any of my picks, but that's where I got.
Okay. Well, luckily for me, I get to see what tires these guys are on before I make my predictions. Okay, so some guy on the hards, and that's actually who I'm going to pick for the win. I'm going to go some guy. He's been on a bit of a dry spell the last couple of weeks, 2 4th places in a row. I think he bounces back and keeps his points lead intact. So I'm going to go some guy P1. I'm going to go with D-Swish P2.
Okay.
And then I think F1 Nerd, I think he'll keep doing what he's been doing. He'll make up some spots and finish in 3rd.
Yeah.
So I got some guy, D-Swish, F1 Nerd.
And honestly, the top 5, I mean, in terms of this entire season, have just been so even on pace. It's really a toss-up between those 5, and Jabbar is just kind of unfortunately, seems to be just off the pace. I mean, I feel like he's close enough where, if he really getting into the groove, really feeling the track, he can challenge up there too, but really it's in the top 5 and just been pretty much back and forth all season, so Be interesting to see how they get along. Yeah, it's really hard. There really isn't a bad pick inside the top 5, really. And yeah, Chabar is. We listened to Chabar. We didn't pick you for the podium. We all know you're washed. So you're not cursed for today. So enjoy it. Yeah.
Wow. You could have just said, "Hey, we're not going to pick you," but Stone Cold Sir Charles says otherwise. From the top row.
All right, Speedy, let's go, buddy.
What the hell? Like, I saw a comment earlier in the chat. He said he was going to run a conservative race, but, like, don't overstate yourself here, Don't be too dramatic about it.
And let's see if he does this. This is this weird kind of Joby can't park. I screwed up my parking last week, but...
Yeah, you're not one to talk anymore. Me and Raikkonen were both laughing at you for that.
And he does this weird thing where Speedy parks sideways, because that used to be like an esports hack.
Oh my god, he did it again. Oops, he did it again. Alright, 5 red lights on the grid. Lights out and away we go from the Bahrain Grand Prix. Who gets off the line the best? D-Swish has a bit of wheel spin. Pilot looking for an overtake as they head into turn 1, this hard braking area. Will they get out of this alive? They go 3 wide here. A Red Bull goes over the curbs. That is Chabar, and he is going to remain in P6. Speedy Gunner makes up a spot on Joby, who has a poor start.
Yeah, I think Joby just took the self-preservation route there in turn 1. Really backed out of it, which blames some guys are getting pretty interesting there, or pretty aggressive there. But yeah, pretty good through turn 1, through the first sector for these guys. Will definitely be. Turn 1 is definitely Calamity Corner. We have close to a full grid like we'd be expecting tomorrow, but these guys are able to handle it quite nicely, and yeah.
Great shot into the hairpin of these guys sliding their way through there. Brakes are very tricky to navigate through that corner, so brake bias is crucial. Oh my gosh, and boy, Speedy not being conservative right now. A little bumper cars action with Dorian Alpha here as they head through the left-hander of turn 11.
Yeah, Dorian's been absent for a while, so he's going to get the baptism by fire from Speedy. He doesn't know who Speedy Gunner is. So he's about to find out what everyone else has been
I love
missing.
that. The baptism of Speedy Gunner 45. Welcome back, buddy. Here's your baptism. Let's take a look at the positions gained and lost off the start. Some guy actually went down 2 spots. He got a poor start, but we mentioned Speedy Gunner able to leapfrog Dorian and Joby, but he's still kind of going to war here with Dorian.
Some guys, him losing to the slots isn't the most surprising thing. He is the only one in the top 6 on the hard, so not too surprising there. But now the real test for him will be, can he keep up with the guys in front of him?
And Chabar, kind of in no man's land, especially if you look at the interval. I mean, literally in no man's land. But yeah, he needs to just make sure he stays within DRS.
You have the same interval I have, about 1.5 minutes behind 5th place there.
Yeah. Hey, me too there for the longest time. That's why I had to take a different strategy than everybody else. Oh. Yeah, and that is one thing that's, I think, better about Bahrain. The fuel situation isn't as bad, but the DRS trains won't be as significant at this track as they were last week.
Yeah, a lot more corners to kind of, Constantine and accelerate away. A lot more places to make up time, I feel like. And then also multiple DRS zones. You can have some really good battles here, so. I feel like this place does kind of lend itself to DRS trains, but it also lends itself to a lot more overtaking opportunities. So you definitely won't feel as stuck as you would maybe if you're stuck at the end of a train last. Dorian got past Speedy.
Not for long, though. Speedy on the battery. He's probably going to try and chuck it, but he's a little too far behind. Dorian, though, goes deep into the corner, and Speedy to the inside, but not able to get the acceleration.
Dorian was able to get the DRS there. Speedy up on the curve. That's not what you want to do right off the bat there.
One of the things when you're coming back to really any type of racing is just getting on the brakes and just hitting your apex. And Dorian missed a couple right there. I'm not sure how much he's been racing since he came back, but probably getting a little bit of rust off here in this race. As you mentioned, I mean, he's got a Constructors' Championship, so Dorian is no slouch.
Yes, certainly. But you also have to remember, too, like, he didn't play hardly, I don't think he played hardly all in F122, and the handling model has changed drastically since, you know, F121, so it could be a bit of a learning curve for him as well. So, yeah.
Ooh, wiggling out of the final corner. He's got Speedy Gunner all over him with DRS.
Yeah, so we're going to have a battle here, basically third all the way down through 6 here. Looks like they're going to stay in line for at least this lap, but...
Yeah, F1 Nerd really trying to put the pressure on Kluka here for third. Some guy, though, he's made up a little bit of track position. He started to slip behind F1 Nerd after that start, but he has closed right back in. Oh, we have a yellow at the back. Joby.
I think he probably got up on that weird curve that causes you to bottom out there on the exit of the S section. Could be wrong, but yes.
I think F1 Nerd got a pretty good exit. You see some guy have to touch the battery just a little bit right there to stay within reaching distance. Oh, not a good exit there. Ooh, at the front, take a look at this. Pilot is there on D-Swish. He could be setting up an overtake. And he's got him going into turn 4. New leader.
Speedy Gunner gets around Dorian there quite easily. Dorian kind of messed up turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, this track definitely... Oh, no! Oh, and he hits Speedy Gunner, really missing the corner there, and that is a broken wing for Dorian Alpha.
Yeah, showing a little bit of rust there, certainly. That's not what you want to see, but... thankfully, both those guys are all by themselves, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of... Although Speedy just gave this spot back, and Dorian Alpha going to get the spot back again because he just getting out of the way because he knows he has wing damage. So
yeah, I was about to say,
oh
no!
Back here. What is going on?
Whoa, Kluka just lost 2 spots right there. That was probably a mistake there out of turn 13. Oh, and he's getting overtaken again here by Chabar this time. Ahead of them, though, look at this battle for P3 side by side.
Yeah, that was just kind of some poor decision making on all of those parts. I mean, this is not the time to race. You guys want to be playing DRF again. I mean, you're just playing right into D-Swish and Pilot's hands here. It's just not really sure. You got to think about the overall track time as well. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Fleeper was getting a little too cute there, but anyway.
Oh, but Chabar really sideways there through the S section. Down into turn 8 they go. Kluka is going to remain in P6, so that's how fast things can change. But you know what, though? I've been trying to say this for a lap now, but you get sideways here, but it's also easy to miss your braking point, and we saw that with Dorian about a lap ago. Oh, Kluka, man, oh man.
Yeah. I saw that.
You gotta remember, too, some guy is on hards. Everyone else around him is on mediums.
I think if some guy makes his overtake here, which is looking pretty likely, some guy might just ride off in the sunset.
Into turn 1, Jabbar makes contact, goes through the grass slightly, still side by side with Kluka, though, somehow hanging on to that car.
Yeah, Kluka didn't give him a whole lot of room there, but it was all fair in the end. Jabbar might not be too happy on the radio, but racing thing. That's Kluka again. I don't know what his setup's just not working, but sliding through the S is a huge racing spot where you see the handling issues.
That makes me worried because I'm debating on using his setup tomorrow. Oh, but Jabbar goes a little deep. Oh, look out though! His teammate has big troubles out of that same corner, and he's now under pressure from Kluka. That's F1 Nerd.
That will release some guy. I have to think that some guy is going to put his sights set on the top 2 here.
He does have a long way to go, though. With all that shenanigans happening, D-Swish and Pilot have been unleashed.
Take an F1 Nerd here. F1 Nerd has a lot more battery to play with.
Easy overtake there for Kluka. Back up to 4th place after going down to 6th. Man, it seems like F1 Nerd, he's also been struggling the last couple of laps.
F1 Nerd. Oh, he gets burnt.
Wow, and there goes Kluka spinning out, and Jabbar misses him narrowly. That was a sketchy incident there. I'm sure F1 Nerd's going to get himself submitted after this race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's one of those things, like, he was, I don't know, that's kind of weird. Like, he was definitely there. Let me see if I can get a good replay of it here. I mean, looking at the replay, I don't think F1 Nerd did anything wrong there.
You don't think so?
It was definitely a lunge. I mean, it was a lunge, but he was on the apex, didn't really blow the corner. Contact wasn't a whole lot. I just don't think Kluka was expecting to move and just kind of turned in on like a foot in there, which, I mean, I'm saying it's Kluka's fault by any means. But yeah, I think that was just going to be go down as a racing incident, honestly.
Well,
we'll see. I'm sure he'll have different opinions of it. But
yeah. I am a Challenger steward, so I will get to look at this probably after the race and just see it from both sides. But, you know, at first, I mean, it definitely was an aggressive move. But, yeah, I mean, if he hit his braking point, if he, you know, was able to get on the brakes and not miss the corner and run into him, then, yeah, it's fair game.
Alright, well, it's worth noting. I was curious to see what some guy's pace would be, and while he does continue to pull away from the guys behind him, the gap is getting larger and larger between him and D-Swish, which is exactly what those two want to see. Now, some guy is hoping at some point here, and I think they know probably on the crossover points of which tire is better. Some guy obviously hoping start clawing back some of that time before they switch over to new tires. So you got to keep in mind too. I mean, not only does some guy have to make a 4.5 seconds, Pilot and D-Swish are going to get a pretty good undercut on them when they pit. So some guy definitely has his work cut out for him.
Telling you what, though, I do like D-Swish's pace right now as the tires begin to wear, and he is going to get this lead back right here. Let's see if Pilot has an answer for that. He does not. You know what? Something I have noticed. I think F1 Nerd, maybe his pace hasn't been good the last few corners, but I feel like he may have let off the throttle slightly to get Jabbar within DRS. I could totally see them doing that.
Yeah, possibly. Although, like right now, it seems like F1 is certainly matching some guy in terms of pace. Jabbar kind of looks like he's overdriving the car a bit.
You can tell by the battery too that he's really pushing it thus far. And you mentioned it at the top of the show that Jabbar, he's kind of like the odd man out, sort of. You know, you have guys like some guy, D-Swish, who have been winning races, and Jabbar's kind of just barely behind them. He's there, like he's been up at the front, but he's just a tad bit away, I feel like, and he's maybe trying to, you know, find a solution to that and just push a little bit harder.
Yeah. All right, and it's probably a little early to think about pit stops, but expecting probably anywhere from 12 to 14 here. But do you think anyone's thinking, you know, trying to pull the big undercut here?
Honestly, probably, I'd say probably one of the Red Bulls. If they really want to get up to some guy here, because some guy still has a long way to go until he needs to pit. So if you're one of these medium runners in 4th, 5th, maybe even 6th with Kluka's situation right now, because I think Kluka just made a mistake because he's really fallen back. I know he had the spin, but he's fallen back a little bit more since the spin.
Yeah.
So one of these guys in the midfield, I think, should definitely try the undercut here.
Yeah, like I said, the hards do last a long time, so one lap pressure hards will make a huge difference here. I'd say 4th here. 4th through 6, F1 Nerd, Jabbar, Kluka. It's worth for one of these guys to go for a gamble, maybe a big undercut, as I think both turns are going sideways there through that turn there.
Yeah, that was turn 11, which really can get you, you know, because it's one of those corners to where you can really be confident and think you can go just about flat out, but if you push it just a little bit over the edge, it's really hard to save the car in that corner.
Any takers?
Nope. Nope.
Maybe Kluka? Nope.
Speedy Gunner. Let's see.
Yeah, he's done hards. I don't think he would.
So, hey, Speedy Gunner. You never know.
Sure. You never know.
Hey, I mean, he is at 97% of the battery, so he wasn't kidding when he said he would go conservative. Maybe not on the, you know, racecraft side of things, but with the battery, absolutely.
Yeah, and when you're all by yourself like he's been, I mean, you might as well just save all the battery in the world.
Right?
I will say, it's at the point now where F1 Nerd and Jabbar are starting to lose some guys just a little bit. You gotta think maybe the mediums are just going to go off at least compared to the cards now. Like I said, I think now is the time where if you want to do that, you definitely gotta think about hitting this lap.
Yeah, you want to... Oh, yeah, F1 Nerd struggling there. Yeah, you got to think about pitting sooner than later, because think about it. They can't pit on the same lap. So one of them's going to get not screwed over, but they're going to lose a little bit of time. So you might as well just get it done now and just, you know, take the hards the rest of the way. Ooh, boy, this battle up front though, it's like a slingy, you know, like one of those sling dogs, to where it's just going back and forth, you know. Oh, D-Swish fakes him out last second, pops into the pits.
And F1 Nerd into the pits. Kluka will go another lap.
Speedy Gunner now going to use some of that battery to see if he can overtake one of these Red Bulls. This might be close here as F1 Nerd comes out of the pits. He's the only Red Bull that's in. Chabar will pit next lap. Oh, and he's going to be side by side with Speedy Gunner through turn 1 right here. Oh, this might be a good fight.
Well, don't really think it was much of a fight at all.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, don't race too hard. Oh, boy, that was tight. I think F1 Nerd's got him, though.
Yeah, F1 Nerd, a little bit of a worry there, but F1 Nerd, much better grip at this point. Really wasn't much of a fight. That's something that Chabar's going to have to look out for when he hits.
Oh, my God.
Oh, and you know what else? Speedy Gunner's best friend, too, will also be behind him.
Who's that? Dorian?
Mm-mm.
Oh, yep. Oh, no. Do I need to mute my mic again and give him a warning? Not to play bumper cars again this week? Alright, Pilot in the pits.
Interesting, both Chabar and Kluka go another lap. That is interesting.
I think they're both waiting for Speedy to pit. they're gonna stay out as long as possible.
Especially if you're Chabar, I mean, you know, F1 Nerd might have gotten on the radio and say, hey, just go another lap here, because, well, Speedy didn't just pit, so there.
Oh my God, I was joking! Don't... Well, you know what? No, like, the mediums, I guess they could go 15 laps, but when you're doing a hard medium, you know, you would think to take the hards longer than the mediums, but, you know. Okay, so this is how things turned out with that undercut. Pilot is now 1.6 seconds behind D-Swish. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if D-Swish can hold that margin. Of course, Pilot on cold hards right now. D-Swish probably still has a bit of a tire advantage. He's probably pushing right now.
And this is one of those situations that can be very desperate. You know, you can get desperate very quick. You see that gap getting bigger. You see, yeah, now he's pushing the battery down to 20%. But here comes some guy, though. He's going to respond and pit as well, leaving Chabar and Kluka still out.
And some guy will be doing more laps in the mediums as well than the hards.
Okay.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what his pace is now. And
yeah.
Like I said, it also minimizes the undercut. But F1 Nerd, some guy, this is the battle here. F1 Nerd gets ahead of some guy. That is crucial. That's, I mean, you know, F1 Nerd is probably the best friend of the two guys up front, or in third and fourth right now. F1 Nerd can just hold up F1 guy or some guy just a little bit and really help the guys up front. I don't know how this strategy would work, but could Chabar and Kluka possibly be stretching and getting onto the softs for the end of the race?
You know, I hope they would, just for our sake. That way, everybody can give us a little bit of everything. That way, we can write stuff down and piggyback off of that for tomorrow, because, I mean, hey, we saw last week, we didn't think anybody could do the medium soft, and Kluka and Pilot did just that. So if there's anybody that's going to do it, it's Kluka for sure.
But when you stay out.
Yeah, I like this. I mean, it all depends, too, on how good the softs are at the end of the race, but yeah, we'll see how well this turns out.
Pilot fastest lap. He only closed in a couple tenths though on D-Swish. The D-Swish is, I don't think both of those guys are definitely settling in a bit more here. D-Swish does not hold up Pilot that much. Or, I mean, F1 Nerd, rather.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
Sec could get him back right here, but he doesn't touch the battery. I'm just going to try and piggyback on some guy here for a little bit.
Yeah. And I... Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be interesting to watch some guy's pace compared to Pilot and D-Swish.
Yeah, you know, one of the things, too, I mean, the undercut is bad, but coming out of the pits here, it's so terrible. You know, the tires are so cold, and the first couple of corners especially are just so icy. It's super hard to get on the brakes.
Yeah, especially if you're battling someone like who's like on the track. Speedy Gunner gets a 379 billion, the only one so far. Bahrain can be tricky on track limits. It's the only real place that's really tricky would be turn 2, and this turn right here, penultimate corner. Bar into the pits. What tires will he put on? Yep, softs.
Wow. Oh my goodness. 12 laps on the soft tires.
It'll be 13, actually.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's quite the stretch. I mean, like, hey, if they can last, this could be a hell of a strategy, because he could easily get up to at least 4th. I mean, it's a long ways to go to Pilot and D-Swish, but you never know. You know, he could just be trying to, you know... one of the reasons he could be going on softs, too, is for fastest lap, you know. That could be another incentive.
Well, also, too, you gotta think Kluka's gonna do the same thing, so it's like, is he really gonna get fastest lap here? Probably not. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think he'll catch his teammate. I mean, he's on slightly used hards here. I don't know if he'll get some guy, though. But I mean, D-Swish is almost catching the back of Kluka right now.
I do gotta say, though, Charles, I'm really liking Pilot's pace. You know, and we saw this at the end of last week, too. You know, he had good pace towards the end. It's just the fuel really got him, so... And he's within DRS, but I don't like his battery situation right now.
D-Swish's battery situation isn't a whole lot better at the moment, but it's not at 0.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, though, is that they're going to catch Kluka this lap. I would think Kluka would hit this lap. I mean, I think 11 laps is kind of the number I had in terms of the furthest you could take this off until Jabbar pitted at least. At least somewhat comfortably anyway. Kluka's grip is not there at the moment. Yeah, this could work in terms of Pilot's favor too, because I think D-Swish is about to get held up here.
Yeah, you know, just based on what I'm seeing here, I think the medium hard is the ideal strategy. I think, because I just don't see Jabbar making up all that time to, you know, like he was battling with F1 Nerd before the pit cycle. You know, like he was kind of hanging, you know, a few seconds back, or not even a few tenths, really. So I don't think you get much from doing a medium soft.
Yeah. Like I said, right here, like I think we'll catch F1 Nerd, but like I said, I don't think he's gonna go much beyond that. D-Swish going for the lead right here. Kluka just lets him have it, and Kluka lets Oh no, and Diesel's probably cursing Luca right now because he just let Pilot go by. Luca ducks into the pits.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I actually, yeah, I like that a lot. Good teammate work there, letting Pilot get ahead as well.
Yeah, definitely. Now we'll see what Fuka's pace is. I'm sure Fuka will hit fast slap. Kind of surprised that Jabbar didn't get fast slap there. He closed the gap to F1 Nerd by quite a bit that last lap.
He missed some guy by a tenth and a half for fastest lap.
And some guy really isn't closing on the top two either. He must be. I mean, he has like a few tenths a lap, but I mean, obviously, he needs probably about half a second a lap. He's not closing in quite quick enough at this rate.
Meanwhile, Dorian Alpha, he's doing a medium soft. That's because he started on hards, I believe. Double check.
Yeah. Starting hards, had to wing damage early, so I think he could have stretched to mediums to the end. Speedy wasn't really gaining that much on him, but certainly understand why he chose to hit for softs at this moment. So.
And I have noticed ever since Pilot got within DRS, he has saved up some of that battery, so Pilot looking like he's faster at the moment, and this could be it to where he overtakes D-Swish into turn 1, maybe.
It's a little too far behind. Yeah, he lets off there. Obviously, if it was the last lap, probably would have looked a lot different there, but yeah, certainly maybe. Thought maybe he's going to try and set him up coming off of turn 2 there, but didn't quite get the run that he was looking for.
Yeah, you know, I really got to start picking Pilot for my podium picks more often. Because he's been on the podium every race he's showed up, and I don't think I've picked him once. So I'll make sure in 2 weeks' time when we come back that I'll do that. Which, by the way, just a reminder that next week is our first break week of the season. We will be off for, I think, maybe all 3. I have to double check. I know that Challenger and Elite are off next week, though. But we will be back in 2 weeks at Baku.
Oh boy, that track's going to be some chaos. That track always brings out the friendly personalities. Yeah, it's worth noting, like, some guy is not gaining on the top 2 at all, and F1 Nerd is, I mean, he's more or less keeping pace with some guy, too, so I'm just surprised that some guy doesn't have more pace, because he's looking really good before the pit stop.
He's going to back off again. He could have had a chance there to overtake, but I think Pilot recognizes the big picture in this scenario, and that's a great mindset right there, because I think most people would have taken a shot there into turn 1.
Yeah. Not surprisingly, Kuga takes fast slap, but yeah, I mean, at this point too, you know, it's one of those things though, if you're Pilot, you know, if you get a golden opportunity, you kind of got to take it, because you never know what might happen next lap, but he's definitely playing it quite conservatively. He's definitely confident in his car right now, the way he's feeling in his driving, so yeah, Pilot's definitely doing pretty good. It always cracks me up though. Yeah, he's got the Ferrari helmet and the Mercedes. I guess.
Huh. I did not notice that.
I mean, I guess maybe if Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton decide to do the mid-season swap, I guess this is Carlos Sainz hopping into the Mercedes right here.
Well, I've got my interview question for him for tonight. I didn't know what to ask him last week, so now I got something for this week.
He is right on D-Switch's gearbox now.
Yeah, no kidding.
He might not even have to use his battery here. Well, he does give it a little bit of it, but yeah. Easy overtake right here. D-Switch probably is going to fight. Now it's going to be D-Switch's turn to maybe just see if he can follow behind Pilot and maybe conserve some battery himself.
Yeah, it's one of those games to where, like, I don't know if you want to be leading in this scenario going into the final lap, you know, when these guys have equal pace, equal battery, like, do you want to be leading or do you want to be second? But now we're going to have to see if D-Swish can stay within DRS. This has not been a great sector for him. He's hasn't had the cleanest couple of corners right there, but this will be crucial right here.
Lose a little bit of the battery there. Seems like D-Swish might be struggling with tire grip because he was very conservative on acceleration there. Out of the turn, but yeah, you can see Pilot already opening up just a little bit of a gap. He's not going to be able to break DRS here.
He might try, though. I mean, the way he's racing right now, I think he's trying to do that.
Kind of missed the apex there, though, so D-Swish will probably be right on him going into turn 1, which is really all you need. F1 Nerd must have made a big mistake, because he has really dropped back from some guy, and now Shabar is right there on his teammate.
And this should be a pretty simple overtake once Shabar gets to F1 Nerd.
Entering turn 4, able to close up within a couple car lengths of Pilot.
Well, I will say, we're shaping up for Pilot to be in his second late race battle for the win in the last 2 weeks. So he's got some experience. He'll probably have more fuel, I would hope, this time around. But I do like Pilot in this situation right now.
I agree with you on that.
And now the biggest thing for me is, I mean, these softs are probably going to fall off, but like, can Jabbar get up to some guy? If some guy gets a penalty, I mean, boom, like that's the golden opportunity for Jabbar, and he's going to get F1 Nerd right here, because F1 Nerd, his pace just is not there with Jabbar.
Yeah, I imagine to see some teammate competition here.
Yep. Just like that.
Jabbar then proceeds to go deep into the turn, see if F1 Nerd were not counter. I don't know what's going on with F1 Nerd. So he had really good pace at the beginning of the run. The hards are definitely still good. Meanwhile, we're going to have a battle for the wooden spoon, or maybe not. Dorian goes right up to the back of Joby.
Battle for the caboose. Oh, Joby gets it all wrong. Dorian should have a clean overtake.
And DRS, just for good measure.
Squeaky clean.
And now he'll set his eyes on Speedy Gunner, who does have a 3-second penalty, so Dorian could get Speedy as well. You know, D-Swish is now closer to Pilot than he has been the past couple laps.
Real quick, I just want to thank everybody who's tuning in on the YouTube side of things. If you are enjoying the race, just let us know. Say hi in the comments. Leave a like as well. It always helps.
Well, it's a good old 5-lapper now. D-Swish coasting in the last part of the straightaway there to the DRS. Both him and Pilot kind of made a mess of turn 1 there, but D-Swish just does not seem to be, I don't know if he's struggling or just does not seem to be confident in the slow traction zones. Particularly turn 1, and I believe it's turn 10 under 1 that's really noticeable.
You just gotta wonder, like, who's using ABS and who isn't? Who's using traction and who isn't, as Joby adds his name to the naughty list. But assists are, I mean, they're huge everywhere, but especially here, with how slippery this track is, it could make a huge difference.
I mean, I wouldn't think, I'm pretty sure Pilot goes with no traction control. He races Elite as a reserve quite a bit. D-Switch has too.
Yeah. Pilot's actually, he's pretty quick when he shows up to Elite.
Mm-hmm.
Which, speaking of that, Elite will be here tomorrow night. We do have a Seafreeze sighting, which will be happening tomorrow night. Seafreeze returning to the paddock. That should be fun for, you know, everybody he's going to be racing against at the front.
Jabbar's pace really hasn't been much. It's overtaking F1 Nerd, and oh no, Pilot really messes up turn 1. What will D-Swish do on the run down to turn 4 now?
He's gonna think about a move to the inside, and Pilot gives him the spot.
Anyway, Kluka's now closed up onto the Red Bull, so he could have a battle for G4 as well. And now suddenly, some guy has turned on the jets. I don't know where the pace has come from the last couple laps, but he is closing rapidly all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like if these two, I know these two up front are clean racers, but if they get together, even like, you know, they cause a small bit of contact, some guy can get up to DRS and he could easily steal this. Yeah, dude, take a look at Jabbar. Like, F1 Nerd has caught back up to him. So I think, yeah, don't take the soft tires 13 laps, ladies and gentlemen. Let alone 9.
It could just be a setup thing for Jabbar, too. I mean, Kluka has really come from a good ways back, and like I said, he's only a second and a half back from these guys now, so... Pilot again lifts and coasts a little bit right before turn 1. Not going for a move.
Oh. Pilot stays in second. I'm really curious as to how this Red Bull situation is going to turn out, because I'm sure they know Kluka's closing in, so I don't think they want to be holding each other up too much in this situation. Oh, F1 Nerd, big snap!
Are they going to play? Sorry, is Jabbar going to be, you know, Carlos Sainz and stall out Kluka to kind of, you know, F1 Nerd to kind of stall out Kluka?
I don't know, man. I mean, you got to realize, like, Constructors is actually getting really close, and with, you know, Mercedes, Alpine probably scoring around the same amount of points today. They might get a little bit less, but, you know, Mercedes is might be second in Constructors after today, so this is a big battle here between 4th, 5th, and 6th.
See some Red Bulls work together to hold off Kuka. There we go. 2 to go.
Pilot is there. D-Switch has saved the battery, though. What will Pilot do this lap? Is he going to lay back? Yes.
It's like as soon as I talked about some guy closing in on him, he's kind of stalled out again, so...
Yeah, I will say, this is going to be a slugfest on the final lap. Both of these two have set themselves up to pounce, to drain all the battery on the last lap and set themselves up. So, like I said, they're both, from what I've seen, they're both clean racers, but You never know.
Last lap of the league race, elbows always come out. I tell you, 4th through 6th is going to be a great battle as well. Because battles all over the place. We're going to have the top 2, 4th through 6. 7th and 8th is going to be close, with Speedy having a penalty, so it's going to be a delta battle between those two. And then there's some guy just right in the middle, cruising.
If he gets in the interview afterwards, he'll be the guy that we need to figure out questions for, because he's had the most boring race out of all these guys. Final lap, this time by Pilot, puts on the overtake. D-Swish goes defensive. Who's going to lead this into turn 1? Pilot to the outside. Doesn't have him. D-Swish fighting back on the inside now. Side by side. Pilot's not going to lift. Oh, he has to cut the corner slightly. Still there, though. Going to drain the battery. He's got DRS.
Pilot was very clever there to keep then DRS. I'm surprised he went to the outside both times, though. I definitely would have forced the issue a bit more. They are neck and neck.
Side by side into the S. There's contact. D-Swish gets spun out, and that will give the lead to Pilot.
Yeah, I think that was just a racing incident. Pilot left just enough room, and 2 cars going into where only 1 car goes into. It's kind of what you expected. Meanwhile, the Red Bulls have managed to hold off Kluka. Can they hold it to the line? D-Swish is able to get going here. It'll be interesting to see what his opinions are in the podium interviews. He's going to sell for P3 here.
F1 Nerd Chabar both sliding into the hairpin. Kluka's got DRS. Can he make this happen? This might be the corner. He has to do it. We'll see.
All 3 of these guys had the light flashing right here.
Yeah. Well, at the front, last week Pilot was on the short end of the stick for the last lap battle. This time things will go his way. Pilot will win the Bahrain Grand Prix round 5.
Right up to the gearbox of F1 Nerd. F1 Nerd gets a little bit of a tank slapper. I don't think Kluka will have enough time, and he will not. And Kluka's out of gas. What is Kluka doing?
Yeah.
He did finish, didn't he? I don't know what he was doing there. I thought maybe he ran out of gas there at the end.
I think he was just showing frustration. You know, here's the thing, like, people do that all the time. Man, he did that far from the finish line. I don't know if I would have taken that risk. That was like, he could have retired.
Certainly risky here, alrighty. But yeah, I just want to say, I mean, pending Seward review, I did predict the top 3 correct. And Dorian got a 3-second penalty in the last corner!
Oh no, Dorian! No! Oh, I think he's out of gas, that's why. Oh, he's out of, or no, he's not, he's pissed.
Oh, he cost himself a spot in the last corner. He had Speedy easily.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
I thought he was out of gas. He was just sticking it in 4th gear, though, and I just saw him just say something in the game chat. He probably let out a couple of F-bombs right there.
Oh, I feel bad for him. But aside from that collision, actually a decent comeback. But yeah, I'll claim it. I got the top 3 podium prediction correct. That doesn't happen very often, so I need to point it out here. But
you want a cookie?
Yeah, I wouldn't say no.
Chocolate chip? Seafreeze has plenty of them.
Kluka is not happy with F1 Nerd at the moment.
Oh, really? Huh,
well,
I didn't see anything.
Remember when F1 Nerd went for the dive at about halfway point?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow. Man, I mean, we thought it was going to be spread out towards the end there. Boy, were we wrong. That was good stuff.
Alrighty, well. And darn it, Pilot again with PC means we're going to have to do the PC chat. Anyway.
Pilot, first win of the season, puts himself right up there in championship contention. definitely solidifying himself as a front runner for this title. The only driver, I know he's missed a couple of races, but I think he's the only driver to have still finished in the podium every race that he's shown up.
Yeah, he's consistently been quick, and yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what both him and D-Swish's opinions are of the last lap incident, but I personally think it was just a racing incident. But yeah, we shall see.
Yep, we shall go and transport ourselves into the Discord for the interviews, and yeah, I am very curious. So some guy came second, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Some guy doesn't usually join for interviews, so we could just get a pilot D-Swish interview here, which will be which will be fun. But you know, I don't know. Like D-Swish, he was kind of in the actual like opposite scenario last season in Australia, to where he and F1 Nerd made contact in a similar scenario, and he got the better end of it. So we'll see what comes from this. But I'm just curious from like you said, Charles, it looked like a racing incident, but we'll see if something gets submitted afterwards. All right, we got you, Charles, in here. We got pilot, so we just need D-Swish to hop on in here, and then we will get this thing going. If not, we could always just start with pilot 2 and just work our way down, but we'll just give it a minute. Speedy says in the chat that he got blessing after blessing with Dorian there at the end, with him getting a penalty. So that's one way of looking at it, I guess.
Well, I figured I was going off the comment because he listens to the stream usually when he drives. I was saying that Dorian's going to get a baptism by Speedy there during the race, so I think that's probably what he's referring to.
Yeah. All right, so we'll start things off. I don't think some guy will be joining us, so we'll start with first and then go down to third. So let's start off with the man who redeemed himself after coming really, really, really close last week to picking up the first win of the season for him. Pilot, you get it done. Another last lap battle with you. Obviously, there was contact there going into the S's. I believe that is turns 5 and 6. What did you see from your point of view?
Yeah, on my end, we were both just fighting really hard. We both wanted that win, and it was just an unfortunate bit of contact. I left enough room on the outside. I did squeeze them a lot, but from what I was looking at, there was enough room. But it's just unfortunate that we hit on the last lap there. It was a good battle for a while.
Yeah, you two were racing superb with each other. You guys were kind of leapfrogging for a little bit, but there was a point to where I think it was you who pitted before D-Swish, correct?
No, I pitted a lap later.
That's right. Yeah, a lap later. So yeah, the undercut once again though was huge this week. Would you do anything different with that strategy, or do you think with the DRS, you and D-Swish were still going to be neck and neck?
Yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, it was a hard one because I did end up getting back into DRS just before Pluka ended up holding him up a bit. So I was able to get back in, and I think even without Pluka holding him up, I think I would have still gotten in DRS and stayed there. So I don't necessarily think I would have done much different.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Charles, you got any questions?
Yeah. I mean, just watching it live, I was kind of surprised he didn't go to the inside, either into turn 1 or turn 4 in the last lap. Obviously, it worked out for you in the end. What was your mentality heading to the last lap? Was there a specific move you had in mind when trying to set up D-Swish?
Not really a specific move. It was more so just get as close as I can and overtake in one of the DRS zones. I didn't really think about inside, outside. I think in the end, coming down the main straight, D-Switch ended up taking the inside, and that's why I went to the outside. And then, I just went from there, just trying to make the overtake stick.
All right, well, that's the only question I got. I think it was pretty exciting race, and congrats on a good drive and not running out of fuel this week. So, I think this one was definitely well deserved, and I imagine we'll be talking to you a lot more this season.
I got one more question for you, Pilot. It was something that we both noticed during the race. Why do you have a Ferrari helmet on if you're racing as a Mercedes?
I didn't know I had a Ferrari helmet on. I don't know. I don't pay much attention to my character.
Yeah, that's just something we noticed. Like, we were saying it was almost as if, Lewis Hamilton did his swap early, and, he's racing, like, with the Ferrari suit in the Mercedes this season.
Yeah, I might have to change that after this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. Well, congrats on the win. Pretty well deserved. You've gotten a couple thirds, you've gotten a second, and now you get the win. Oh, are you racing tomorrow night?
No, I won't be able to. It was last minute.
Ah, damn. Because I know we had a pretty good battle there towards the end. You got a penalty, I think, in the last couple of corners, right?
Yeah, it was. I think it was the third to last corner. I was so close behind you, I couldn't see the corner, and just went a little bit too far in and got my penalty.
Oh, because like I noticed when we crossed the line, like you finished ahead of me, so I'm like, damn. Then I looked and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know he got a penalty. when did that happen?
Yeah, it was right there at the end.
Yeah, interesting. All right, man. Congrats on the win and break week. So we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
All right, and from the other side of things, we go down to P3 D-Swish. Man, side by side with Pilot there, final lap. Just what did you see from your point of view?
After the second DRS straight, I took the inside, he took the outside. After we got through the corner, he kind of wheel banged me offline a little bit. And then at that point, my line was pretty much compromised. I had to either go for it or back out completely. And I'm going to go for it. So I felt like he could have left a little bit more room. But, I mean, I don't know. I think that's going to come down to just being a racing incident. But I don't know. I got to watch it again.
Yeah. It's hard in these scenarios because I feel like we've been seeing more of these in the last couple of years with the games and also with the cars and how people race. I know last season you and F1 Nerd kind of had a similar scenario there, last lap contact type of thing. And I know like in your scenario I might have done the same thing, but do you think you could have like waited for that backstretch DRS? I know you have to basically like get the overtake done on that straightaway because it's hard to pass after that. But do you think you could have set yourself up maybe later that lap to make an overtake?
I don't think so. My run through those tight S's right there would have been compromised so much. I probably would have lost half a second. So on top of losing a second when Kluka backed me up in that one corner, there was not much I could do, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Charles, you got any questions?
Yeah, I mean, just how's the car built, how's it set up on the car? It seemed like, at least in the later part of the run, there towards the end, it seems like you were kind of struggling a bit out in slow speed traction areas, so like turn 10, turn 1. How did the car feel from your perspective, and did you feel like, did you feel like you had the upper hand going into the last few laps over Pilot, or how were you feeling in that scenario?
I mean, I thought I had the upper hand. My tires were good. I was just upshifting quick to not put a whole lot of stress on the rear, so the last couple laps I could have some tire to use. But I mean, Bahrain is probably my worst track on this game. I hate this track. There's no grip anywhere. even if you take it slow, you're so slow that you're not even relevant. So
yeah, it's weird. This has gone from basically a track that everyone likes to now in this game, pretty much everyone hates it. It's kind of weird how that happened, but anyway. But yeah, I kind of feel the same way you do about this track. So.
Yeah, it was way better a couple of years ago on those games.
D-Swish, I see you're tentative for tomorrow, so are we thinking about showing up, or what's the plan there?
I'm tentative if I'm going to show up or not. Depends on what the girlfriend wants to do, so we'll see.
Yeah, that will get in the way. Well, you heard. I mean, Seafreeze is making an appearance tomorrow night. Back from the dead.
Maybe I'll look into it then.
Yeah. There you go. All right, man. Well, I'm sure it's not the result you wanted, but congrats on another podium, and yeah, break week next week. So see you in Baku.
Yeah, see you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Charles, I said it. Next week is break week, but we still got tomorrow though. So anything you took away from today that you're going to be using as notes for tomorrow's race?
I mean, maybe a little bit of strategy, but I mean, strategy is kind of really straightforward here. I just gotta realize that while I'm struggling, everyone else probably is too to track, and the only other thing really I really learned is, I don't know, sea freeze might be more important than a girlfriend, maybe, I don't know.
Oh, that's funny.
I think we proved that, once again, you don't need a huge grid to have a really good race, because like I said, there's some good battles right there all the way down to the end, and but yeah, it was a good race, and like I said, small grids, but they keep on putting on entertaining shows, so yeah, it was a good race. I expect more of the same, especially in 2 weeks we have the Carnage Grand Prix. Everyone seems to get along at Baku, so looking forward to that and seeing what chaos ensues there.
It's actually going to be our first time going there since season 14, which kind of disappoints me because I really like Baku, not just personally, but I think as a track, it's a good racing track. And, with this grid, I mean, you said it, like, I really feel like for the most part, people get along pretty well. And there hasn't been too many things, with the exception of, I think, one of the races, there was a lot of tickets, but it's been pretty clean and green for the most part. So, yeah, that will be in 2 weeks. But like I said, we still got tomorrow night. The Elite Series will be back here in Bahrain. But that will do it for tonight. My name is Camden Luca. That is Sir Charles. And we will see you in 2 weeks in Baku. Have a good night.